Hi guys, welcome back to Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me, sharing a dream or two. Okay, I'm just going to get to this one because it was absolutely crazy. I lay down for a nap. It was an hour and a half, and I have this big dream. Let me just go right into it, okay? So I wake up and I come to, and I walk into my bathroom. It's not my bathroom, it's a bathroom, but it was my bathroom in the dream. Okay, so I walk in, and I happen to notice the toilet seat is down. I don't know why, but I went over and I went to go lift the toilet seat. I don't know if I was getting ready to use it or what. But when I lifted the seat, the toilet itself goes down into the ground. So now it's level with the floor. And I start panicking a bit because I see water start seeping out. And then I start seeing sewage backing up. And it kind of freaks me out. So I call for my husband. My husband comes into the bathroom and he said, "What's the problem?" And I said, "Well, look, the toilet's broke. We got to fix it. The stand is missing. It's level with the ground and stuff's coming out." And he says, "Ooh, that's not good." I said, "Exactly." And he says, "Well, fix it." And I said, "I don't know how to fix it." And he says, "Well, I don't know either. I don't know what you want me to do." And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe you got to figure something out." And he says, "Well, you figure something out." And I said, "Fine." So I do this. And apparently when I do this, I guess I wanted it to change. But what happened was a countertop came over top of it and raised it back up. So it wasn't a toilet, it was a counter, but it was just kind of disguising what was underneath, which wasn't good. It wasn't a good foundation. It wasn't a counter foundation. It was the toilet still broken, but the counter was just kind of hiding it. And he says, "Well, it looks like you want to change the whole configuration, but you can't change the whole configuration. It's not going to work." And I was like, "Well, okay, then what do we do?" He says, "I have no clue. I'll have to go think something up. I'll have to work some magic for you. I don't know. Let me just get back with you on it." And he says, "But meanwhile, while I'm doing that, you need to change that back. You have to change this whole thing. And you need to go through there and you need to find out what is broken for me." And I was like, "Go through this?" And he says, "Yeah, let me come up with something for what needs to be fixed, but let me know what's broken." So he leaves. And so that leaves me stuck there. And I am not happy because I remember that moment specifically. And this part of the dream was absolutely disturbing. This is actually the most heightened moment here because I had to go through the sewage. I had to clear out the water. And I remember the touch, the feel, the smell. I remember the senses working overload here. I was not happy. I was disturbed. I was disgusted. I was angry. I mean, there was all kinds of things going on as I'm in there. Okay, and I'm fighting back a bunch of stuff because it's just disturbing. But I eventually got it cleared. Okay, I was actually rather impressed with myself at how clear the water was. But in the process of clearing it, I finally found 3 porcelain pieces that were broken. So I'm like, "Oh, I found what was broken. Okay, ready to fix this." So I go, and as I go downstairs to go tell him what's broken, I hear this serious, like, wallowing of a cat call, like someone in pain. But it sounds more like a cat or a high female pitched voice. Very annoying to the ears. And I'm like, "What on earth is that?" So I stop for a moment and I try to figure out where it's coming from. And I realize it's coming back from upstairs. I go back upstairs to a room, open up the door, and there are two brothers. And I was like, "What's going on? Are you guys the ones screaming?" And my one brother looks at this brother, and then this one looks back at him, and I'm like, "What is going on? What are you guys doing?" And no one wanted to tell me. And I was like, "That's enough. Tell me what's going on. I got things I gotta do." And I looked over at my brother, and he's like, "I hurt. I have to use the bathroom." And I'm like, "Oh, of course you do." So all I could do was say, "Come with me. We got to fix it. I hope you can make it." So we go back downstairs. I call for my husband. And when I call for my husband to see what he's come up with and to let him know the pieces that broke, he comes out, but he has got this huge, like, wagon from like the 1800s. And he's pulling it, behind him. And I was shocked, and I was like, "What are you doing?" There were all kinds of gadgets on this wagon of his, like big wooden things that were made. And then you look over to this side, and there was like herbs and just all kinds of randomness. And I was like, "What are you doing? We're trying to fix a toilet." And he says, "We are fixing a toilet. I've got your solution." I was like, "I hope to God it's on this wagon. What is on this wagon?" He says, "No, your solution is not on this wagon. Your magic's behind me." And I was like, "Magic behind you? For me, he said, yeah, because you always put us in situations where you always require something extra. And so I go look behind him, and I see like 3 or 4 guys. And I say, what are they? And he's like, that's your magic. And I was like, okay, what do they do? And he goes, well, they're the renovators. They're the one that's going to make your problem go away. So I don't know what happened at that point because I was with back to consciousness. What a dream. All in an hour and a half. So what do you think it means? Let's go find out, shall we? All right, guys. So what do you think? What do you think that dream meant? It was very disturbing for me, let me tell you. I'll tell you, one thing I did learn from that dream is that it is all about moments. It is all about moments and changing. Okay, I wanted things to change, but I didn't want to have to go in there and be the one to figure it out. I didn't want to have to sit there and go through that nasty sewage. Ugh, that was so disturbing. All the smells, all of the touches, every bit of my senses were just totally not happy. And the one thing I did learn in that moment right there was that there is no past or future in this universe, okay? You want change. I wanted change, but I didn't want to have to be the one to do it. It's like you. You want change, but you don't want to change. You want a new timeline for yourself, but you don't want to sit there and make the jump over to it to happen. Why can't we change? How did we get stuck in our mindset that stopped us in our tracks from ever learning and growing and changing? How did we ever get so comfortable in our complacent ways that we thought that we were entitled to something better without making ourselves better in the process? It doesn't work like that. If you do not allow the struggle of sacrifices to happen, okay, if you're not going to sacrifice something, all right, if you don't want to sit there and go through your own sewage, then how can you ever expect something to get fixed? How do you ever expect something or you to even move on? How can you expect change to happen if you refuse to make different choices for yourself? If you simply live, in denial from hearing the truths about yourself, then guess what, guys? I mean, you're never going to be able to move on. You'll never have a better world for yourself. It's just that simple. You'll be the only reason that your world was a complete and utter disappointment to you in the end. All because of your warped, you're wrapped up in your selfish ways. So see how that non-change works out for you and let us know, okay? Watch how bitter, how alone, how lost that you will feel from choosing to stay stuck in that way, right? Watch how quick you fall into a rut of never-ending despair because you refuse to learn from that fall that's going to happen. Don't want to hear truth about yourself? That's fine. Go ahead and enjoy the illusion of the lies while they last. But truth cannot be hidden for long because eventually it's going to come crashing in. All right, you know this because as the truth builds up, it reminds you each and every day as you live in frustration, as you have your growing anger, your apathy, your emotional outbursts. Guess what that is? That's truth knocking at your door. Okay, you're reminded the truth is right there because you feel it in all the emotions that are lived through you daily. Knock, knock. Guess what? It's not a joke. The truth is coming through. And it's coming for your throat. It's putting you in the choke. Your world of lies, it's going to be shattered. But hopefully, it's not going to be shattered to the point where it is beyond repair. Hopefully, you learn from this. Okay? This is a place in time where each and every one of us share moments that will last with us forever. In our souls and in our mental memories, okay? You cannot be the sourcer of your destiny if you are too busy riding the distractions of your judgments and your opinions. You say you want one thing, but you can't get out of your own head to hear the ironic oxymorons that you spew out on a daily. And I am not talking about your personal shallow judgments on others that you love to swim in or that you love to vocalize about. I speak more about your own projections that you put out there to the world on a more mental level. It has nothing to do with anyone out there, but it's got everything to do with you right here, okay? But be distracted so that you don't have to sit there and face your own mirror, okay? Every judgment that you have, every opinion that you say should serve as a constant reminder to yourself that this is exactly what it is in myself that I refuse to change. Okay, it's that your projection is what it is that you refuse to change here. Okay? And then you wonder why you end up acting like the masses. Okay? You're wandering in your ignorance. You're wondering why the world doesn't sit there and comply and bend to your views. Okay? Welcome to Earth, folks, where my trauma outweighs your trauma is in season, I don't know, 191, episode 3000. All right, get in line to tell your story. It'll be aired eventually, I guess. Can't get over it? That's fine. Go ahead and hold on to it, but don't expect to move up any quicker in the line. There are millions and millions of stories out there to air before the camera even acknowledges or sees that you have trauma that exists. Okay? And guess what? Everyone out there is too busy memorizing their lines from their timeline traumas to even want to hear about yours, let alone care about it. You cannot impose your will on anybody else. Okay? Nor can you actually change their perception of reality. You can't do that either. These are impossible things. That is the hardest part about being here in this supposedly woke reality. Truth is, you're all still sleeping. Truth is, your minds are all still distracted. In this age of so many selfies that we love to take and do, okay, it is ironic how most of us cannot even look ourselves in our own eyes and say that I am the reason I am unhappy. Ironic how we live in such a virtual world thinking that we know everything. Because guess what? The internet told me so. Okay, but the internet is just a silly highway of a limited source of knowledge. Sitting with yourself to figure yourself out. That is the hyperspace highway to understanding what this moment was meant to be all about. You want the world to change? You want to live in heaven on earth? Then you got to remember, okay? Take all of the self-proclaimed knowledge that you learned and throw it away, okay? Because you won't find it there. You have to understand that if you want to live in a perfect utopian world, it's going to start right here in your own heart. Tao Te Ching says that when they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. But when they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. Guys, throw away your judgments. Stop throwing your opinions and expectations out there, expecting that the world is going to bend to your views, bend to your ways. It's never going to happen, and it's a complete and utter waste of energy. And unless you yourself are going to be that change that you want so bad, why even bother trying? Why bother crying all about what's going on? Why even bother existing? If you are not going to find the strength and the courage inside you to be the change that you want so badly, then get out of the way, okay? I don't know much about this world, but what I do know is that for a world that has us waking up from our subconscious realms each and every day, we sure roam around in a catatonic slumber on a conscious level every day. We act like angry zombies. We act like scarecrows that can barely hold their posture together. Stop wasting your moment on anger and rage and expectations and judgments. Stop expressing your biased opinion because you refuse to change in your limited knowledge. All you're doing is clogging the airways for yourselves. All you're doing is blinding yourselves into a non-existent timeline. That's all you're doing. If you don't want to grow, you don't want to learn, to even know what your full purpose is here, if you expect the world to change without doing any sort of your part, okay, putting your own skin in the game, then do the rest of us a favor and just keep quiet, okay? Keep it to yourself. No one wants to know. No one really cares, okay? No one wants to hear your episode's trauma. The same song and dance song after all those seasons eventually is going to cancel itself out. But you know what? Maybe it won't cancel itself out. Maybe it'll just spring off into, I don't know, something completely new and different. A new season of something more positive, okay? And boy, what would happen if that was the case? Maybe what we see in the future will be episodes of how I changed my trauma to my heavenly bliss. Be that change. Be your change. Be what you want this world to be. I guarantee your perfect world will magically unfold before your very eyes. You will be the greatest magician of all times. Great sorcerers are able to bring complete chaos to perfect order. So, guys, sit with your own chaos just for a moment. Just sit there. It's waiting to be transformed into the perfect order for your perfect world. So, guys, until next time, thanks so much for joining for Daily Dreamer. Many blessings to you and sweet, sweet dreams.